making sure that this broadcast works. You having fun yet? Should be having fun. Okay. So we let it keep going in the background and then fucking get going. Alrighty. The next mission is going to take absolutely forever, brother. So that's going to be fun, silly willy. It's going to be a barrel of laughs. So how food pantry out there at John Cochran VA Medical Center, St. Louis, Missouri. I stopped. There was a gift card that my grandpa gave me that he, I think, got from the casino, maybe? Casino kept bombarding him with different advertisements, and finally one day he went and then he got hooked. That's how they get you. Yeah, that's fine. And yeah, should be all right. Yeah, we don't need a horse or anything. We're not going to be in a really big hurry. So apparently they gave him some gift cards for a local gas station. He's like, he's a farmer. He buys gas by, like, I don't know. He buys gas wholesale. Fills up all of his stuff like on the farm. It's cheaper that way. You buy in bulk or whatever. He's like, I can't use this crap. Here, you have it. So I use one of those on the way.
Several high-level British CFA officials are being held by their Afrikaner colleagues. One of these prisoners is the rescue target, a guy known as the Viscount. The target's location is unknown, but they're bound to have an interpreter present when they interrogate him. We've used info from the intel unit to predict the interpreter's location. It's on your iDroid. Follow the interpreter and extract the target when you find him.
There's gonna be a lot of downtime in this mission. Fucking cross your fingers now and hope beyond hope that everything goes okay. Everything's alright. Everything's fine. There's a lot of moving pieces, and so it's easy for those pieces to break, essentially. There should be a guy in a car not too far away from us, making his way to our target marker here. We're going to try and make sure that we're nowhere near him so he doesn't spot us. But I don't hear his car at all. Not yet. You know what? He's already there.
Now follow him to the target. That's not the target. Orders are only the Viscount gets rescued. Can't understand why he'd receive special treatment, but I don't imagine it'll be a problem to save the other prisoners too.
You know what? I don't. Before we get the interpreter.
If you're going to use a weapon, be careful not to draw the enemy's attention. The CFA are all business. Hard to believe they're interrogating their own. The situation must be worse than we thought. Make a wrong move, and they could kill the target without warning.
Less than 30 meters away, they can hear Fulton extractions more than 30 meters away, they can't. So I'm going to try to get the bonus for I'm going to try to complete the mission task of overhearing all of the interrogations. I just don't know whether or not that's going to work, because without the translator, we don't actually know what they're saying.
If you're going to get any information from interrogations, you'll need an interpreter. But don't extract the interpreter just yet. If he doesn't turn up, they won't be able to do the interrogation. If they then decide the target's no longer any use to them, they won't hesitate to kill him.
Should have gotten one of the guys up there while I was waiting. Got plenty of time. Oh, now they're starting to hustle shit. At some point in time, they take a vehicle and then they immediately decide, like, not to use it. And then they walk like out of their own way. And then eventually they like turn around and decide that they're not gonna walk it. And then they hustle again. It's fucking weird. They do all this bullshit. And getting spotted by them even once and the game is over, you're gonna have to, you know, start the whole fucking, well, you can try and restart from one of the, you can try and restart from a checkpoint, but chance in a million it's gonna work. So we're only gonna be able to hear the English lines here. So I don't know whether or not that's going to count for the mission tasks. But we're gonna try.
This is your last job. The MPLA's oilfield rights. Where did you get this information?
I told you. I only know it was
It was an anonieme bron.
Moenie my vir 'n poep opvat nie.
You're not fooling anybody.
Ask any of the others. Nobody knows anything.
Hy sê jy moet die ander probeer vra.
Wel, wil dit saam 'n storie op. Dit is hoekom jy nie die Britte kan vertrou. Weet jy hoeveel Afrikaners het na die hele gelei tydens die Boereoorlog?
You made up a story with the others. You British are all liars. You know how much the Afrikaners suffered because of you in the Boer War.
That wasn't me.
Hy sê dit was nie hy nie.
Maar dit was julle wat ons verraai het.
But it was you that betrayed us.
It wasn't me. It was the Viscount.
I don't know how far away you have to be.
So, our rescue target was behind some kind of plot.
There we go. Now we got his attention. I gotta distract the guard, just in case he decides
I did
to
some digging, and it seems the target himself gave us
execute
suspicion
a
who represents
prisoner
him.
ahead of schedule.
Obviously, he couldn't contact us directly due to his predicament, but still, something about this Viscount doesn't add up.
Get him out of here. Quietly. Let's get him out of here.
That car.
Blah, blah, blah. Ooh, 100%. Fucking rescue this man. Hell yeah. Here we go. Ow. Trying to catch up to a car kind of a motherfucker, but we're gonna try it anyway.
Seems the prisoners aren't held together, and the cells and interrogation rooms are separate places.
Now remember, you're probably thinking to yourself, like, why get close to these people? Why not just like spy spy on them through the binoculars, which also have a second function as they double as the directional microphone. So why not just use them? What's wrong with that option? Well, if you are too far away from them, they also will not activate the appropriate scripts to begin talking to one another. So staying far away from them is no guarantee of success. It's actually much better to get as close to them as possible without being seen, because there, at that point in time, they will, you can simply overhear the entire conversation, hook, line, and sinker. Now, they talk very loud. It's funny, because they like, they can't hear you faulting somebody from more than 30 meters away, but you, the player, can hear like a conversation over 60 meters away. It's crazy. That's the power of being the player, I guess. We are the main character.
Maar hey, het jy nie ons met alles in orde? Nou het julle albei met my gesels. Maar het julle die inligting oor die MPL as op die veld regtig gekry?
Now you will both talk. Where did you get the information on the MPLA's oil field rights?
We don't know anything, I swear.
Hy sê ek sweer hulle weet van niks.
Believe us.
So jy verwag van my om te glo. Jy het die MPLA gekontak op inligting van 'n anonieme bron.
You mean you attempted to contact the MPLA based on information from an unknown source?
We thought it was suspicious, sure. But we stood to make a lot of money out of it.
Was vandag, maar hulle wou 'n wins maak.
We're businessmen.
Sakeman.
Sakeman. Jy grap seker. Gevalde hier soldate wat die land probeer kaalstroop.
You're a joke, not businessman. Failed mercenaries trying to skin this country.
We didn't try to hide anything. The Viscount said to keep quiet for now. That's all.
Sy sê hulle het nie bedoel om iets weg te steek, maar die burggraaf het hulle stilgehou.
Ah, dis as die burggraaf se skuld. Goed. Die burggraaf kan ons die res vertel.
En 'n Viscount kan tell us the rest.
Wait, she had nothing to do with this. Kom maar wees nie. Die hel is groot genoeg vir julle albei.
He tells them that there is room in hell for both of them. So this one's tricky. No good. This is gonna be a son of a bitch.
Follow the interpreter and extract the target when you find him.
So not only do we have to sit through that sequence one more time, which is amazing, but also we're going to have to somehow or another rescue those targets without causing any sort of alarm. That includes, like, doing, you know, firing a weapon without a silencer. That's definitely going to be a cause for alarm. You know, hitting somebody too close to the interpreter and his little pal over there, so that he takes notice. Raising the alarm at all, being spotted at all, having somebody get on the horn at all of those things will cause them to stop the interrogations. And they may never start up. They may decide to stop the interrogations and have that be it. Like, they never start it back up ever again. And then they might afterwards decide, just because of this interruption, that they're going to go ahead and stop everything. Stop. Just dispose of the prisoners by the playbook and have that be their next and final move. It's like, fuck interrogations. We're just gonna kill them. Get rid of them. That's it. So it's a barrel of laughs. Highly recommend. So I had to get up early in the morning this morning, and I had to head out there, get there by a certain time to get to the food pantry down there at the Jefferson Barracks VA Medical Center in St. Louis, Missouri. Spent one of those $15 gift cards that my grandpa gave me. Threw that right into the gas tank. Got there, they gave me the standard assortment of 6 onions, 6 sweet potatoes, 6 regular potatoes.
You mean you attempted to contact the MPLA based on information from an
And just a shitload of apples, like 400,000 apples. They also gave me 6 oranges, but they gave me like too many apples. They come by every month, this particular food pantry, and one particular month they gave me a gallon of milk the day before it expired, and so I had to go and get like a jumbo bag of Raisin Bran. It was like the healthiest fucking cereal that I could think of, and just do nothing all day, but all day. That's all I fucking did that day was shit. No diarrhea, of course. I was eating nothing but Raisin Bran, so of course I had the most solid poops on the fucking planet. But I spent the entire day shitting. It's just nothing but shitting. Okay, everybody is over 30 meters away. They can't hear this. Everybody is facing the opposite direction at the very least, so they can't see this. Nope, we did get one guy that spotted this whole mess. I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. I think the best thing that I might be able to do here is, I don't know, perhaps before I start getting anybody Fultoned out of the area, perhaps I need to wait until they are much farther away. And that might be the key to doing all this in a manner that would allow me to rescue all the prisoners. Because I'm pretty sure shortly after this particular interrogation, they killed those 2 prisoners. So that's pretty rough, right?
If you're going to use a weapon, be careful not to draw the enemy's attention.
Damn. That wasn't too awful. So this is its own challenge. So whenever I was growing up, every year my family would at least take one trip down to Eckert's at Apple Orchard in, on, or around the general St. Louis, Missouri area. You motherfucker. There goes my non-reflex bonus. Hopefully I can get back to that guy before he wakes up. Snake slightly changed elevation, so he's got to fucking stand all the way up, start screaming, doing jumping jacks. Fuck me. Did you see that shit? He went from like that little rocklet into this rocklet, and he decides to fucking get into a kneeling position. Start cracking his fucking knuckles, clearing his throat. I'm over here.
I swear. I swear it'll be
Believe us.
So, every year my family would go down to Eckert's Apple Orchard, somewhere in the neighborhood of St. Louis, Missouri. And we go pick a shitload of apples, and we like get like a basket of apples, or a barrel of apples, or a bag of apples. Get a keister full of apples and sneak it out. So every year, trying to eat all of those apples before they expired would give everyone in the family the shits. It's like 100%. It happens 100% of the time. So, looking today at what am I going to do with these thousands of apples without getting the shits, the internet swears to God that it's the regular apples that give you the shits, but if you remove the apple skins, then that's going to be the magic thing that actually heals constipation. But the thing is, out of everything, I think what gave people the shits much more often was definitely the cider. So you know what definitely doesn't have any fucking apple skins? Cider. Like man, I don't fucking believe you, man. It's like that. I collected that information out of after a simple Google search, but I don't know if I'm gonna fucking believe whoever the hell wrote that particular article. I don't know if that shit's something. Dude, I'm gonna fucking lose my marbles. Take this motherfucker down. see his fucking... His anger reticle was still fucking bright red. All I can do is fucking hope beyond hope that I'm too far away from absolutely everybody for them to hear the supply drop. This is going to be such a motherfucker trying to get all these bastards out of here. Okay, well, at the very least, now there's only a 9 out of 10 chance that I'm going to successfully fucking extract these two goobers. The guy over yonder is not... Dude, fuck! See why I was so jazzed to fucking do this mission last night?
The target's location is unknown. They're bound to have an interpreter present when they interrogate.
That's why I fucking gave up. That's why I fucking called it a night. I was just like... Man, this is gonna be fucking boiled anus the entire fucking way. Just like it always is. Just like it always is. Riddle me this, Batman. Why the fuck do I get a 100% chance to get that motherfucker out of here, but these two jokers, they get a 90% chance? What's up with that shit? How come it's harder to extract those two goobers? Like, fuck is going on? Is the sky over those two particular prisoners? Is it just like a little bit more wonky up there, you know, like... And I can't fucking make sense of anything. You know, it's not bad. It's not bad whenever, like, you fucking fail at something and you realize what the hell went on. You realize how you fucked up. What is the particular way, what is the flavor of you fucking up? It's whenever you fucked up and you don't even know what the fuck is going on. That's whatever it's really just, it fucking puts a stick in your craw. I'll tell you that much for free. Son of a fucking bitch. So anyway. So on top of the rest of the shit that I got from this particular trip down to Food Pantry Lane, they also gave me like 700,000 fucking keto waffles. 700,000 waffles that are made of like egg whites. I think it's egg whites. And some like arrowroot, maybe cassava powder and some shit like that. I just watched a YouTube video just last night about last night or this morning about somebody making an entire fucking pizza, an entire large pizza that's 300 calories for the entire thing. For the entire thing. I was like, whoa, you know. So, like, yeah, they got some like low calorie, fat free or low fat, whatever. Cheese for that shit. They got some turkey pepperoni, some pretty healthy versions of like a, you know, a low whatever, a low calorie marinara. But besides that, the magic is in like a fucking sprig of like cassava flour or some shit that they put into the crust that was primarily egg whites that had been beaten to stiff peaks. And so like she just like spread that shit out. She threw it in the oven at like 350 or something for like 10 mics, and then she fucking get right back out of there. And then after that pre-bake, then she slides on the ingredients, throws it back in until that motherfucker is just like slightly melted in the cheese, and then she digs the fuck in, dude. It's so gnarly, man. So I'm reasonably sure that these keto waffles are made of like the same shit, because it's like it's like mainly like, I think it's, like I said, I think it's egg whites, and then it's just a bunch of like I said, like just a smidge of cassava flour or some shit like that.
If you're going to use a weapon, be careful not to draw the enemy's attention.
All right. That's you. That's you. Anybody else curious? I know this guy's eventually going to turn around and be like, oh my goodness, there's people sleeping on watch. What a fucking nightmare. Yeah, see? And then he's like, oh, you guys. You bunch of lazy cunts. I'm going to fucking go over there and fucking chop your dick in half. That's the precise conversation that goes on in that man's head. Calm down, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We're going to get our help. Getting the fuck out of here. Alright, so first and foremost, let's go ahead. So this guy's going to go into there. Since he's facing in this general direction, we're going to go ahead and take him out. Make sure that he doesn't see nothing awry. Nothing that, you know, snags his attention at all. Dude. Okay, so this guy spotted his friend sleeping out here. So before he could go to sleep himself, he spotted his friend out and about. Now the interpreter and his crony are way over there. But we only have a 9 out of 10 chance of fucking rescuing these pals and getting them out of here. So they won't hear the rescue, but are we going to successfully rescue it?
We got some more information though.
Okay.
This most recent prisoner wasn't the target either. But we
Okay,
did
okay.
learn the
Here we
target's
go.
field of movement.
So the rest of these guys aren't going to hear the rescues. The guy over there is facing the wrong direction for him to spot these particular rescues. We pretty much got the run of the mill for a while here. Nobody's being woken up. Nobody's on the alert. This guy is moving in our direction, so we are going to go ahead and take him out. Put him to sleep. He's going to have a night here. Alright. We do have plenty of fucking time. They take their sweet, sweet time getting to their final interrogation with the old Viz count. It's not how you say it, of course. You say it with Viscount, and the reason that you say it that way is because it is French. Remember, we can't be too mad at the French as Americans. They did help us win the independence of our country. So, like I said, swell dudes once you get to know them. My cousins, my oldest aunt, and my oldest aunt and my mother both have children. No, my oldest aunt and my mother, they both have a parent that's different from the parent of all of their other brothers and sisters. And the guy recently passed away, God rest his soul, etc., etc. So everything's fine and dandy with all that. But my oldest aunt's two children, they both have a father that, this is weird, alright? This is weird. So, their father, my oldest aunt's two children, their father fled the United States of America attempting to no longer have to pay child support, and he was successful in his goal of not, having to pay child support anymore, etc. But they got a fucking blueprint too. Damn, son. All right. So now we get to start over from here.
This is a list of prisoner detainment locations.
So there's that intel file. Hell, fucking yes. All right, so hopefully we can go ahead and get rid of this guy without this guy over here seeing this, but there's always a possibility that he will, so we'll start heading his way. And no, we successfully did it all sneaky beaky like. Let's try to run way the fuck out of these guys' eye line. And we're gonna get to the meeting location for the last interrogation before these guys get to their station in this nation. And they're gonna take their sweet time, so I'm gonna have to be patient. So, my oldest aunt's 2 daughters, their father, left the United States in order to flee from the responsibilities of, oh, so they just hot swapped out the bed, huh? Okay. They're right to do so. Dude, I've got so much fucking time. They're fucking taking their sweet time to get in there. I might as well just fucking take this whole place. Got no reason not to, man. Look how far away they are from their final... Well, that marker over there is actually where the Viscount is supposed to be. That's not their final interrogation destination. Their final interrogation destination is over yonder someplace. I'm gonna go ahead and take that leap. But they still are gonna take their fucking sweet time, so you know what, I'm not gonna do anything with it. I'm just gonna go ahead and take a little nap below the window. I got no reason to fucking do anything else. So so my aunt's 2 daughters, their father, my oldest aunt's 2 daughters, their father, fled the United States in order to not have to pay child support. He was successful in doing so. Guess where he fucking went? He went to France. He went to France. The man did not speak a word of French. He didn't fucking take it in high school or anything. I don't even know if he made it through high school. I think he was like a high school dropout. He was not the coolest guy ever. So it's not like he suddenly decided to be an asshole after he had kids. Like, he was never the coolest guy. And so, but he goes to France, and chickadee check this out. So he not only goes to France, manages to learn the local language and everything as part of the whole mix-up, but also he finds a job as a French mechanic. So you're thinking like, okay, so this guy's gonna like go to France or something like that, then he's gonna get some like desk job, maybe he's gonna work at the embassy or some shit like that. Something that's going to be related to like his ability to speak English. Like, he's not going to like go out there and blend in with the local citizens or some shit. But no, he fucking finds a job as a French mechanic. I guess because fucking cars are cars. You know, looks at the car, notices it needs an oil change, so he goes ahead and he charges them for 4 tire rotations and brake line cleaning and, you know, an extra a massage for the fairies that get the engine running and some blinker fluid and stuff like that, you know. Some brake light mesmerization. An oil massage. You know, all the shit that they normally tack on every time that you fucking... Every time that you go down to the mechanic. So this is what I mean, man. This is what I mean. I fucking... Listen, D-Dog hasn't found the prisoner. They're in the interrogation positions. They're in the right place at the right time. But the prisoner isn't here. And even the guard that's escorting the prisoner is not here. So this is probably the guard that's supposed to be escorting the prisoner.
If you run into trouble, give us a call. You may be able to offer some advice.
But where's the prisoner? Chances are the prisoner fucking fell down somewhere between hither and thither for no reason. Just tripped over a big ball of nothing. Decided not to get back up. Like someone from the Oregon Trail or some shit. And then he just decided to give up on life and never get back up. This shit's fucking mad anus. The script, there's too many moving pieces, man. The scripts, like, they're too specific or whatever. You know, they're... But these guys have to go from here to there. And they've got to talk to these other two guys. How much do you want to bet the Viscount's just sitting out here? No. Not only is the Viscount out here, but his guard is still out here. No, his guard... Viscount's way the fuck over here for no fucking reason. His guard's sitting over there with his dick in his hand. I promise you. I promise you. I fucking super double dog dare promise you that even if I reloaded the checkpoint from whenever I received the information to go from A to B or whatever, even if I reloaded the checkpoint, it wouldn't matter. It would not matter. If I reloaded the checkpoint, I would still be up shit creek without a paddle. There's no way. Once the script decides not to work, you gotta restart the mission. And you might even have to, like, return to ACC and then relaunch the mission. It gets that bad. There's too many moving pieces. These two NPCs have to take this specific path, yet they have to say these things to these other NPCs. These other NPCs have to treat these NPCs a certain way. That's too many moving parts. So of course, this is of course going to be the one. And of all the missions, this one's going to be the one that is going to have lots of broken pieces. It's going to be the one.
Confirmed. Get yourself out of the hot zone, by chopper or by land. It's your choice. We could sure use that interpreter too. Think you can extract him?
He couldn't hear me jump to the window. That's the cool thing about the sneaking suit, man. It makes your footsteps absolutely soundless. So as long, unless you are detected because of your smell, or just cause, you know, activate somebody's sixth sense. Unless one of those two things happen, then you're up shit creek without a paddle. This guy speaks English. This is the interpreter.
Where are your friends? Speak. Speak. Spit it out.
Anything else?
Spit it out.
There's a fucking Langolier fucking flying around this room. It's not good.
Alright, that's the interpreter extracted. All you need to do now is exfiltrate the hot zone.
And remember, boss, all you have to do is don't pull out that thing unless you plan on to bang. Bombs over Baghdad. Highly important. Turn the lights on and off. Highly important. Anyway, there was an incident with my oldest aunt, and her kids had to go live with their father for a little bit, so they managed to pick up French.
The one and only. Boss, one of the other British prisoners filled us in about the Viscount. It turns out he's a real two-faced son of a bitch. He was planning to secure the MPLA's oil field rights for himself in exchange for swapping the CFA's alliance from the anti-government United rebels to the state-backed MPLA. He hid this from the Afrikaners, but once he thought the jig was up, he tried to pin it on the other British personnel and take off. The Afrikaners captured him, and that was when he asked us to rescue him, and only him. I'll throw him in the brig for now, but we may have to be extra persuasive with this one. By the way, boss, we got some interesting news out of our friend the Viscount. He mentioned that more than a few PFs in the region have purchased walker gears. The CFA's the same. That's Soviet Army technology, and it's still a prototype. Only Cypher could be leaking it to the PFs. But the question is, why?
Because it's fun. I can't believe that that fucking pitiful demonstration of how not to play this game resulted in an S rank. But we tried the mission from the helicopter. We deployed from the helicopter, and the script broke. So let's try to deploy.
One of the latest missions to come in is connected
In a
to
different
the
way.
walker gears. This could be our chance to close in on Cypher. Take a look at your mission list.
We're gonna have a mission, Critical 1, Visit Quiet, yeah. And that's gonna be our opportunity to head out there, check in on Quiet, watch her take a shower, and then move on. That's right, boyo, you're sitting there going, that's another one of your jokes, and trust me, it's a tasteless joke. No, we're gonna fucking watch her take a shower. I'm fucking serious as a heart attack. That is precisely what happens in that fucking... in that side op there. You go visit Quiet, you watch her take a shower, and then talk with Ocelot, you know. Have a nice chat. Talk about things, your dreams, your hopes for the future. How in just the right light the moon can be seen glinting off of Big Boss's eyes. And that's the one thing that's always touched Ocelot deep in his heart. All the way back whenever, you know, he was with the KGB, working as a double agent for the CIA back in the 1960s during the events of Metal Gear Solid 3. At least, you know, some of that is what they talk about. Not all of that, but, you know, more than you would expect. Okay, so, materials container. pray for the fucking scripts not to break. Let me fucking reload everything before I fucking go on this mission and fuck everything up. I've already got a damage suppressor. Don't pull that thing out unless you're playing a bang. Bombs over Baghdad. Yeah. So I was in the Science of Happiness class. Whatever place, I've never been to France. I've never been to Europe in general. And wherever, you know, I was in this Science of Happiness class, and one of the other students, we're all talking to each other, and one of the other students revealed to me that he grew up in France. I was like, oh shit, yeah. You know, my cousins had to go with their dad in France, and so it's like, oh really? Where were they? Where were they at about? You know, and everything. Like we were doing the do right around the same time. If they were, I was a kid and they were kids. And so I sent a text to one of my cousins, and she sends me back an answer. And he was just like, "Oh shit, that's like white people France." And I was like, "What?" And he goes like, he's like, "Yeah, you know, I grew up along the Mediterranean and blah blah blah. That's where all the people with a tinge of color to their skin generally are." He said, "I literally grew up in the second floor of a brothel. It's very common for French for French people to be so sexually like free and carefree that it's not like looked down upon. Look what I fucking told you. I fucking told you that damn car is on its way." God.
Several high-level British CFA officials are being held by their Afrikaner colleagues. One of these prisoners is the rescue target, a guy known as the Viscount.
We try to get behind him.
They're bound to have an interpreter present when they interrogate him.
Okay.
We've used info from the intel unit to...
Now we're going to be able to get from A to B.
It's on your iDroid.
Might as well just follow him there, fuck it.
Extract the target when you find him.
He said like he grew up on like the second floor of a brothel. Like it wasn't like this big deal to just be like walking home from school or some shit and see somebody hooking up in an alleyway or some shit like that. He was like, yeah, that was like the way I grew up. It was no big deal. It's like, yeah, your cousins grew up in like white people France. They grew up in like hoity-toity white people France, where people had like standards and shit. And probably don't, you know, see people fuck too often. But, okay. So then I had to relay all that information to my cousin. And she's like, who the fuck are you talking to? It's like some guy in my Science of Happiness class. And it's like, I'm not oversharing. I'm telling you everything that he's telling me. It's like, this is a fucking weird conversation. It's like, you're fucking telling me, man. I'm just here.
Wat maak ik met hom?
Sit hom saam met die vrou. Is hulle saam ondervra?
Ja, meneer. Beweeg nie.
If you're going to use a weapon, be careful not to draw the
Come
enemy's
on.
attention.
Here we go. Don't pull the thing out unless you're playing a bang. Bombs over Baghdad. I was blasting my music, trying to stay awake on the way back and forth in the from the food pantry this morning.
The CFA are all
I have to go ahead and
hard to
you know,
believe
play
they're interrogating their own. Situation must
Bombs
be
Over
worse than
Baghdad.
what
That was
thought.
big whenever I was a kid.
Make a
And I was
wrong
like,
move, and they could kill the target
that was
without
huge.
warning.
I've got so much time in between them and their first interrogation that I'm probably going to be able to take out everybody up here next to the houses, the homes, the buildings. They eventually get into that little baby jog, and then they hustle on the way.
You'll need an interpreter. Don't extract the interpreter just yet. If he doesn't turn up, they won't be able to do the interrogation. If they then decide the target's no longer any use to them, they won't hesitate to kill him.
They like killing people. They think it's funny. And whenever I really think about it, it kind of is. What the fuck are you talking about, Oswald? Just, you know, like not like funny, but just, you know, I didn't know that you felt so strongly about it, boss. You know, just like, you know, it's kind of funny. Oh, not if you don't think it's funny. I kind of think it's funny, though. I didn't think about what time of day this is taking place. Such a fucking moron. I should have smoked the fucking Phantom cigar to help get me from A to B here. Instead I did it, and now we're all fucking paying the price. The interrogation, the final interrogation with the Viscount takes place at night. It always takes place at night. So I'm probably going to be sitting there with my dick in my hand for fucking 48 hours just sitting there waiting for this final interrogation. And you're going to be sitting here with me because I'm a moron. I fucking ruined everything. Damn it. Ugh. Now we're all going to fucking die. It's all my fault. Fuck. Alright.
This is your last chance.
Die MPLA se olieveldregter. Waar het die inligting vandaan gekom?
The MPLA's oilfield rights. Where did you get this information?
I told you. I only know it was an anonymous source.
There was 'n anonieme bron.
Moenie my vir 'n poepel vat nie.
You're not fooling anybody.
Ask any of the others. Nobody knows anything.
Hy sê jy moet die ander probeer vra.
O, so het saam 'n storie opgemaak. Dit is hoekom jy nie die Britte kan vertrou nie. Weet jy hoeveel Afrikaners sit onder die hele gelei tydens die Boereoorlog?
You made up a story with the others. You British are all liars. You know how much the Afrikaners suffered because of you in the Boer War.
That wasn't me.
Hy sê dit was nie hy nie.
Maar dit was julle wat ons verraai het.
But it was you that betrayed us.
It wasn't me. It was the Viscount.
Genoeg. As jy niks weet nie, is ons seker klaar.
Okay, these two jokers have to leave the generalized 15-meter radius around that particular...
Take a good look at his
There we
face.
go. So now we got this guy's attention. That means he's going to spare the prisoners. They don't really know that the prisoner's guard here is investigating something. And I know that it's not the greatest.
Boss, I did some digging, and it seems the target himself gave us this mission through a representative. Obviously, he couldn't contact us directly due to his predicament, but still, something about this
He didn't say
Viscount doesn't
anything.
add up.
He just gets to move on. Don't want to break these scripts ahead of schedule. The fucking slightest thing will break these scripts. I haven't been interrogating these people. I have the interrogator. I know what you're saying. You have the interrogator? What the fuck are you talking about? The interrogator is in the mission.
Can't understand why he receives special treatment.
Yes.
But I don't imagine it'll be a problem to save
That is also true. I both have the interrogator on the staff at Mother Base, do not have the interrogator because I probably immediately fired him, and I have the interrogator even though I'm following around the interrogator. I guess I got a different interrogator. Or something. Need I remind you that Snake here, our main character, is an unreliable narrator? Okay, so... You didn't see shit. Is that you in there in the other room making noise, kitty cat? Or do we have an unexpected guest in here that my kitty cat is going to have to catch and kill? One or the other, right? If there is an unexpected guest, I'll just tell you that that is your fate. And there's likely to be an unexpected guest of a certain size, because otherwise it wouldn't have been able to get into the trailer. It'd be something small, like a rat. Field mouse, really. Not even like a rat. No Master Splinters here. Just the cute little ones that they kill for science experiments.
Alles in orde. Nou kan er albei met my gesels. Maar inligting vir die MPL laaste kant weg.
Now you will both talk. Where did you get the information on the MPLA's oil field ranks?
We don't know anything. I swear.
Hij zei, ik zweer het je van mij.
Got it from D's.
Based on information from an unknown source.
We thought it was suspicious, sure. But we stood to make a
But
lot
it was
of money
funny.
out of it.
Was vandaag, maar hadden we een winst maken.
We're businessmen.
Onze zakenman.
Zakenman. Die grapsing. Gevalde hier soldaat en die land moet je kaals doen.
You're a joke, not a businessman. Failed mercenaries trying to skin this country.
We didn't try to hide anything. The Viscount said to keep quiet for now. That's all.
Zij zei hulle die bedoel om je weg te sturen, maar die burggraaf wil stilhouden.
Ah, dus als hij begraafd is. Goed. Burggraaf kan ons die rest vertellen.
En een Viscount can tell us the rest.
Wait, she had nothing to do with this.
Don't worry, your death will be very funny. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. So, this guy's more than 30 meters away now. Let's hope nobody sees these two prisoners go away. 70% chance to get him out of here.
That prisoner wasn't the target either. We got some more information.
That's low.
This most recent prisoner wasn't the target either.
We're out of luck. And if you hear some ripping and tearing sounds in the background, it's because I am making some chugachity.
Several high-level British CFA officials are being held by their Afrikaner colleagues. One of these prisoners is the rescue target.
So I'm ripping up some lettuce.
The target's location is unknown. They're bound to have an interpreter present.
I gotta chop up some carrots.
Extracted wasn't the target, but we did get some information. Seems the prisoners aren't held together, and the cells and interrogation rooms are separate places.
They erased my supply drop. You see that? I had a supply drop because I was down on the suppressor, and they fucking erased it. Which is fucking bubkiss.
Be careful not to draw the enemy's attention.
If you're gonna use a weapon, make sure it's a hilarious one. Like a comically oversized hammer or something like that. Boss, did I tell you the other day I watched this great anime, and it had an angel with a comically oversized mace, and it would just like kill the protagonist every time that the protagonist even like slightly inconvenienced the angel, like bothered her in any way, shape, or form. I can't remember what it was called precisely, but I know that the words beating angel was part of the title. Plus, it was really funny. Ocelot, don't fuck with the timeline, you fucking moron.
Where are your friends?
Don't you know that that anime doesn't come out for years after
Where are your friends?
after the time in which this game takes place? I'm out of luck. Let's see how many people went on alert. They all got startled.
British CFA officials are being held by their Afrikaner colleagues. One of these prisoners is the rescue target, a guy known as the Viscount.
Maybe I can go around the other direction and have much more luck with it.
That prisoner you extracted wasn't the target, but we did get some information. Seems
He
the
told us
prisoners
his
aren't held
favorite
together.
flavor of Kool-Aid is
Cells and
cherry.
Interrogation rooms are separate places.
Boss, he was a basic bitch. He didn't even say it was something cool, like strawberry kiwi or something like that, one of those combo flavors. He'd say his favorite flavor was cherry, boss. He might have to let this one go. He's not welcome on Mother Base. Get back to make my samjugachari. We're not stupid smelly heads. Oh, I think that you are stupid smelly heads. The Viscount is the stupidest smelly head. All of you British are the stupidest smelly heads of all of them.
Alles in orde.
I don't know how recent the Boer War was at the start of this game. This game takes place in
Now
1984,
you will both talk.
so
Where did you get the information on the MPLA's
like I have no idea exactly
I swear.
like
Ik zweer al hier vannacht.
you know how recent that was
As jy verwag van my om te glo.
in the memory of the people involved.
Kontak om inligting van 'n anonieme bron.
You mean you attempted to contact the MPLA based on information from an unknown source?
I forget what the thing was with this particular
Was vandaag, maar we wou
group of
We're businessmen.
onze zaak.
private military company personnel.
Jy grap seker. Beval die soldaten by die land.
Each of the private military companies operating in the Africa map, they all have their own little like backstories and whatnot. There's 3 of them.
We didn't.
And I
We
forget
didn't try to
exactly
hide anything.
what's the makeup of this
Viscount said to
particular
keep
one,
quiet for now. That's
since
all.
nothing changes about their AI or behavior or anything like that.
Ah, dis as die burggraaf is. Goed. Die burggraaf kan ons die res vertel.
En een Viscount can tell us the rest.
Wait, she had nothing to do with this. Is groot genoeg vir albei.
Mom, he said a bad word.
Use a weapon. That's not the target. Orders are only the Viscount gets rescued. Can't understand why he receives special treatment, but I don't imagine it'll be a problem to save the other prisoners too.
Mom, said a bad word, Mom. He said HE double hockey stick. Would never say that. My soldiers would never fucking say that. Sorry, I don't know where all this is coming from. I know that last little bit was Ron Burgundy, but as for the rest of that bit, I don't know where that came from. No one is going to spot this particular guard leaving the surly bonds of Earth.
Please.
100% success rate. 100% success rate.
That prisoner wasn't the target either. We got some more information though. They're going to interrogate this most recent prisoner
Nobody-
wasn't the target either.
Nobody is looking. Nobody is viewing this. Nobody saw that. Nobody heard nothing. Oh boy, howdy. Man, we are fucking cooking with gas today, boys. This is the way that this shit is done. Hell yeah, man. I'm so happy I could fucking squeeze. I could squeeze. They like go out in like the opposite direction and then they fucking pop back up. They start like heading back towards my current location. So I'm afraid that they're gonna find this guy after I put him to sleep. Over here listening to fucking Galaxy News Radio. 3 Dog. Ow! We're here for you. Yo, when he had this guy, so whenever I was in honor guard, while I was during my dwindling days, my final moments of active duty, the last 4 months. Damn it! These snakes just fucking stand up and start fucking running and doing jumping jacks and screaming at the top of his lungs. Singing the lyrics to Take On Me by, what is the Aha, whatever. Fucking screaming the lyrics of City Escape from Sonic 06. Sonic and Knuckles and the Two Buckles. Sonic Adventure? Was that it? I never played the game. That's why I'm having trouble trying to place it. Follow me, set me free. We got to escape from this city. All I can do is fucking pray. Oh boy. Well, while we're waiting, let's go ahead and listen to some of these fucking cassette tapes. I'm gonna make my some jetty, and then we're gonna
You were hospitalized in Dekelia, a British sovereign base area on Cyprus. It's part of British overseas territory that falls outside of Cypriot jurisdiction. You got moved from Cuba's Little America right into Cyprus's Little Britain. Why Dekelia? The UK and the US remain close allies. The last place Cypher would think to look for you is inside their own system. That's what kept you safe in British military hospital for 9 years. The safest place from a whale is inside its own belly. You were a regular Geppetto.
Well, it wasn't Pinocchio who led me out to safety. So who was that guy?
Cypher went so far as to attack British territory, burning their own ally. That's how badly they wanted you dead.
He said I was in a British military hospital. But the doctor had a Greek accent.
They hire locally. Easier to trust them. Dekelia is also home to Greek Cypriots, after all.
What about the Turks? They haven't returned to the south.
Not yet. The Cyprus dispute is still a long way from resolved. The country is just as split as it was in '74. Turkish Cypriots in the north, Greek Cypriots in the south. Between them, the Green Line, the UN established.
And Dekelia sits right on top of it.
It does. Part of the buffer zone between the two groups. Another reason it was the perfect place to hide you. Easy to spot any outsiders snooping around.
So how do things stand?
Now, last year, the Turks declared that the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus is an independent state, though it's only Turkey that recognizes it. In the past, the Greeks and Turks lived side by side in the same villages. There are reasons to fight. Those came from the outside. Greece, Turkey, Britain, America, they all have their own stake in pitting the two sides against each other. But once you spark something like this, it's impossible to control. Both sides build up grudges like debt, without the foresight to see that each act of revenge just fans the flames. And then it's too late for other nations to rush in with peace talks. The embers keep on smoldering. Each nation's arrogance only breeds anarchy. The world is paralyzed by this hunger for revenge. Cyprus is no different. You're up.
We're changing ships?
We can't go sailing the Suez in a whaler.
The Suez Canal. When did they reopen it?
Not long after you were attacked. Once they finished sweeping it for mines after the Arab-Israeli conflict. Can you stand? We're going to transfer it to a container ship for passage through the Suez. Our destination is Pakistan, Afghanistan's neighbor to the south. There we disembark and head
what I call
via
normal
to the
dog
Syrian
behavior.
line, the border. We'll travel to the Khyber Pass by road.
And then?
We continue on horseback. Afghanistan's main roads are under Soviet control. We'll need to go around them. It'll be all narrow, winding paths through the mountains. We'll do better on horseback. It's a local guerrilla tactic. They use the higher ridges to avoid air recons. Then they charge down the mountains for ambushes. The Soviets still haven't devised a counter strategy. Our time frame is only half as much as we really need. It's gonna be a tough march.
Better horses than boats.
Well, it'll make for good physiotherapy. Take the time to get used to that new arm.
While the Soviets have indicated they are not participating in the Los Angeles Olympics, primarily because the United States has made no attempt to guarantee the safety of the Soviet Union's athletes, the United States is increasingly demonstrating the belief that the issue has nothing to do with its preparations, and in fact this is retaliation for the Western nations' boycott of the previous Moscow Olympics. That concludes today's news.
That's quite some news. The Soviet Union not attending the LA Olympics? Yeah. Andropov's death has changed some things. They're calling it revenge for the Western boycott of the Moscow Olympics.
Countries boycotted the Moscow Olympics?
Yes. In protest of the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan. Over 50 countries were absent. It's too bad I didn't get to see Yamashita's judo. When the 40th Army crossed the Amu River 4 years ago, détente went right out the window. The U.S. Congress chose not to ratify SALT II, and Reagan's hardline politics won him the presidency in a landslide. According to him, the Soviet Union's an evil empire.
A second Cold War.
And there's been no end to regional conflicts and civil wars. Lebanon, the Falklands, Grenada, Iran, Iraq. The story never changes.
Egypt and Israel did sign a peace treaty. But then the driving force on the Egyptian side, President Sadat, was assassinated afterward. Apparently, his actions were considered a betrayal of his fellow Arabs.
Islamic extremists? Yes. Fundamentalist extremists have been responsible for some bold acts of terrorism in recent years.
We've had extremist students in Iran take U.S. embassy workers hostage, and suicide bombings in Lebanon. Over 300 foreign soldiers stationed there have been killed.
But countries have yet to develop an effective means of dealing with terrorism. Afraid of losing their own men, they've pulled their forces out, handing private forces a golden opportunity.
Private forces?
Small armies with no national affiliation, working for the highest bidder. That's right, they got the idea from you. After Mother Base went down, they began spreading to meet the soaring demand. Miller's organization is just one of many PFs now. The entire world is after you. But at the same time, it needs you too.
If you run into trouble, give us a call. We may be able to offer some advice.
You do remember Miller. You'd formed a private army with him. An army with no allegiance to a nation.
I remember, but...
I see. You're not sure what's fact and what's a fantasy caused by the coma. It's still all a mess, huh? All I can do is tell you the facts as they were told to me. I've gone easy on you up until now, but this is where the hard stuff begins. 1974, the year before you entered your coma. You were in Colombia, operating with a small unit of men, basically mercenaries. Miller was among them. Miller was trying to find a way to turn his and your talents into a line of work. He was looking to start a business where you would fight on behalf of others around the world, those who needed military force. But the reality was, at that time, you didn't have enough gear to equip your own men. Then Miller came across this client. It was a huge job he was offering, but you had a shot at pulling it off. You accepted it and headed into Costa Rica. The client even threw in an offshore facility in the Caribbean. The Mother Base, that would be your new base of operations. Miller sure did have a head for business. As your mission went on, your unit grew and grew. More weapons, more money. Before you knew it, you were commanding 300 men. As the organization got bigger, your military powers swelled to match. It got so the international community couldn't afford to ignore you. You were just too damn successful for your own good. You, your men, had worn out your welcome. Everyone was out for you. East, West, First World, Third. It was only a matter of time before someone took you down. And that was XOF. Officially, they're an anti-terror unit under the CIA. In reality, they're Cypher's private strike force. They lured you to Cuba using Chico, the Nicaraguan revolutionary kid, and Paz, a mole who worked for Cypher as bait. While you were gone, XOF, posing as a nuclear inspection team, stormed Mother Base. At the same time, C4 they placed on the strut legs went off. The whole thing went down in minutes. XOF. Kisses and hugs followed by a big FU. All because of Miller's blind spot. A back door into Mother Base no one suspected. You remember a certain scientist. Huey was responsible for bringing the inspection team on board, giving the enemy a perfect opportunity to hit you at home. You were returning from Cuba when it happened. Mother Base came damn close to taking you with it into the Caribbean. Those of your men out on assignment returned right away. They refused to believe the wreckage in the water they found was Mother Base. But they checked the coordinates again and again, until reality finally settled in. You were supposed to die that day. That was XOF's primary objective. As far as most folks know, you did. The first doctor to see you wasn't even sure what he was looking at. Before they'd even finished operating, your men moved you to that hospital in Cyprus. It was a woman named Eva who arranged that. Rings a bell, huh? Most men in your condition would have been written off right from the start. But you survived. You went straight down to hell, and they pulled you out. Your eye wide open. Full of venom. The days of naked Snake are long gone. Welcome back, Venom Snake. This world still needs you. Here, Snake, try this on.
A prosthetic arm.
Yeah, Miller was calling it the arm that wasn't there. The physiotherapy's going well. Your arm's bulked up enough for it to fit. There. Perfect. A little time with it, and it'll work better than the real thing. What do you think?
Huh. I can still feel my real arm.
Well, you better get used to this one quick. You have any pain?
Every now and then.
Where?
My fingertips. My left fingertips.
Sounds like phantom pain. Your brain still remembers your old hand.
Yeah.
What about your vision? Can you see okay?
Yeah, at the moment.
Now, the shrapnel in your skull is pressing on your optic nerve. I'm told any hard impact could have an effect on your visual cortex.
Yeah, the doctor mentioned that.
Your brain might process visual information incorrectly. In other words, you could have hallucinations. You might see things that aren't there, or not see things as they really are. You experience any of that?
I think so.
When?
Right after I wake up. Colors look faded.
Colors, huh? Well, that's not a major concern in and of itself, but it could mean the difference between life and death in the field. You'll need to watch out for that.
I will.
All right. You should continue your physio. We'll be arriving soon. It's the last chance you'll get.
Having fun yet? I can't find my gigantic fucking butcher knife. So I'm sitting here with the world's shittiest fucking serrated knife. So I should be able to eat it without taking a beano. Fucking switched over to regular cabbage because it's slightly cheaper once the president decided to take our $100 out of our food stamps every month. Then I was like, I told my nutritionist or my dietitian about it. She was just like, "Oh shit, probably having fucking gas pains because the cabbage fucking causes gas." Shit. It's like, yeah, you're gonna have to switch back to red cabbage, but in the meantime, take a beano. Cool.
Osla, I hear they started calling you Shalashashka in Afghanistan. What's that about?
You know the term Sharashka? It's slang for a suspicious, hastily thrown together organization. The word became associated with a type of forced labor facility in the Soviet Gulag system. OKB scientists and engineers who'd been convicted of crimes were sent to a Sharashka for forced R&D. The Sharashkas were supervised by Lavrenti Beria of the NKVD, the secret police, under the official name 4th Special Department.
Forced research? That's not very different from what we do here.
Diamond Dogs is different. Everyone here believes in you. Regardless of where they came from or why they're here, they revere you. And they're fighting because it was their choice.
And if it wasn't, they'd leave?
Who knows? That's our reality here, whether it's real or not. If there's another truth, I don't want to know it. All that matters is that's the concept that's taken shape in their heads. The traces of a group ideology, our superstructure, to put it in Marxist terms.
All right. Go on.
Right. So anyway, at some point the enemy started calling me Sharashka. This was after the war in Afghanistan broke out. While I was keeping an eye on you in that hospital, I was also heading up interrogations here. The men I broke gave up their comrades and families, everything they wanted to protect them most. No real cause for it. I just let myself get caught up in the old Russian pride. And suddenly I received the honor of becoming Special Interrogation Advisor to the forced labor camps. But the more men I interrogated, the more people saw me as just that, the interrogator. It helped cover my real objective of keeping you safe.
You went that far for me?
Far enough to keep you alive. I ended up being pretty well known among the Afghan guerrillas. Some of them would have seen me on the battlefield, and that's how I got the second half of the name. Shashka. It's a sword, a type of saber from the Caucasus. Russian dragoons and Cossacks carried them into battle. Now, the Russian Empire had a general by the name of Fyodor Arturovich Keller. His bravery earned him the nickname Russia's Greatest Shashka. Someone must have known about that, because somewhere along the line, Shashka got stuck on the end of Sharashka. The guerrillas were using the name amongst themselves, and by the time I got to hearing about it, pronunciation had wound up as Shalashashka.
So, half gulag, half hero sword. Is a perfect fit.
But you see how rumors and ideas about people can get out of hand fast. Once you create a character and put it out there in public mind, it warps and twists with every baseless rumor. And before you know it, all people see are phantoms. In my case, it works out just fine. I'm plenty used to working under aliases.
Sounds like a phantom pain. Hey, that's the title of the game that we're in.
So SALT II still hasn't gone into effect.
That treaty was drawn up to limit not just the size of the U.S. and Soviet Union's nuclear arsenals, but also their delivery systems. The whole deal. Just when we thought all those years of negotiations had paid off, somebody decides to invade Afghanistan. The timing couldn't have been worse.
The president was in the middle of the SALT II talks back then.
You mean while you were busy trying to stop Peace Walker? I heard. President Ford was meeting with the General Secretary in Vladivostok. In his absence, the political brass in America detected what they didn't realize was false nuclear launch data from Peace Walker, and were on the verge of ordering a retaliatory nuclear strike.
Coleman's big idea? Humans are incapable of destroying themselves. Turns out he never knew what humans are capable of.
If that AI, the boss, hadn't found a way to stop the fake data transmission, they probably would have gone ahead with the launch.
Deterrence was revealed as the pipe dream it was.
All thanks to you. And her. The U.S.-Soviet talks looked set to fall through. What happened in Nicaragua no doubt helped trigger a change of heart. But in the end...
The time's to find the politics. When you've grabbed their tail, they turn and bite your hand.
I first met you 20 years ago now. The place was Selenouyarsk in the Soviet Union. We were enemies. I was with the GRU. You were still fighting for America.
No, you weren't.
1964. Operation Snake Eater. Its objective, the assassination of the legendary soldier known as the Boss. When you returned home successful, they awarded you the title Big Boss. Your CO, Zero, sought to carry on the boss's will by covertly establishing his own organization. You knew the original members from Operation Snake Eater. From America, there was David O, or as he was to you, Major Zero. Donald Anderson, a.k.a. Sigint. Dr. Clark, who went by paramedic during the operation. And the fourth, you. From China, there was Eva. And me, Ocelot, from the Soviet Union. 6 in total. To us, government notions of friend and foe were meaningless. As were East and West, we joined forces by our will alone. Our objective was to fulfill the boss's dying wish, to make the world one. And to do it, Zero used the Philosopher's Legacy, the secret war fund you obtained during Operation Snake Eater. This organization would go on to become Cypher. I, on the other hand, was left with the problem. You only recovered half of the legacy. I had to locate the other half myself. When I found the funds, I passed them on to Zero, just as you wanted.
I still trusted him in those days.
We thought what he was doing was the boss's will, until he started that one project.
Les enfants terribles, Zero called it.
You parted ways, as did Eva, leaving only Anderson and Clark still with him. I maintained limited contact, although truth be told, we were just keeping tabs on one another. The reason was always you. After you returned to the Army and created Foxhound, you left America. For a time, even I'd lost track of you. I'd imagine Zero did too. You always were the best when it came to hide and seek. Zero created Cypher, an information network to tap into every corner of the globe. Woven together, Cypher's arteries make the world just one big organism. And that's not all. It also monitors the thorn in Zero's side. That's you, tracking your coordinates wherever you might go. The further you strayed from your roots, the larger Zero became. It's as if he was trying to close the gap between you. But before long, he disappeared from public life. Only a few people had direct contact with him. For a time, I was one of them. Then a year after you fell into your coma, he slipped out of sight entirely. Since then, nothing. No photos, no recordings, not even a reliable rumor as to his whereabouts. I tried every method I could think of, but Zero was gone. Freed of his control, his creation, his power continued to grow. Cypher is a great beast, and Zero was its spine. But even without him, it's endured, evolved. But now its body is rotting, riddled with parasites. Parasites like the ones who attacked you 9 years ago in the Caribbean, and then at the hospital. Cypher's Black Ops Unit, XOF. They learned where you were, and came to wipe the slate clean.
Oh, is it raining? Oh, okay. I had no idea why my box just decided to fuck off. I don't have the waterproof cardboard box. I don't have it developed yet. Anyway. Oh, I went, Ocelot, even after all these years, he's still telling the version of the story that Big Boss was aware of at the time. He's not telling the truth, was that he was Adam in the mission in Metal Gear Solid 3, and as part of being Adam, he was working for the CIA. So after all these years, he still won't tell Big Boss the truth. It was revealed in a post-credit sequence in Metal Gear Solid 3. Anywho.
Christmas Eve, 1979. The Soviet Union rolled into Afghanistan. Muslims have revolted against the Soviet-friendly regime established the year before. The DRA forces could no longer contain it themselves, so the Soviets went in to intervene. The Afghan government was powerless and fraught with infighting. They lost the hearts and minds of the people, and that alarmed the Soviet leadership. With the Islamic Revolution happening in Iran, the Soviets felt they had to act fast or risk the spread of Islamic revivalism. A superpower, sending a motorized rifle division against men on horseback with antique rifles. Everyone thought it'd be over in an instant, only it wasn't. Some Muslims made their fight a jihad, a holy war, and began a guerrilla campaign on all fronts. A war of attrition. These fighters call themselves Mujahideen. They're being supported by the West through Pakistan. That's why Miller was involved. He was training them near the Zero Line, sponsored by the CIA. The war has become a nightmare for the Soviet troops stationed here. They thought they'd be headed home in 6 months at the most. Then a year passed. 2 years. Now here we are 4 years on with no exit in sight. Afghanistan has become the Soviet Union's Vietnam. The Soviet troops on the ground want to go home, but at least they have homes to go back to. The Afghans have lost theirs. The Soviets destroy the kishlaks, villages, wherever they can. They burn down homes and fields, fill in wells, turn pastures into minefields. It's created a mass of refugees who fled to Pakistan. If the Mujahideen are fish swimming around the villages, the Soviets will go so far as to dry out their ocean. But this has had a big price. There's bitter resentment among the Afghans, and they're taking out their anger on the soldiers on the front lines. Among the Mujahideen are the Pashtun people. They're fiercely devoted to their code of Badal, or revenge. Soviets they've captured have had their hands, feet, and noses cut off before being left to die at the side of the road, just to show their comrades what they're capable of. Friendlies who come across them can do nothing but put them out of their misery. Then they burn down another village in retaliation. And the cycle of vengeance goes on.
Well, at the very least, it looks like the target's moving, and we now have the interpreter in sight, too. So it looks like every piece of the puzzle is working now, so hopefully we'll be able to get this over with soon.
This war, the Kremlin never expected to have this much trouble against the Mujahideen. Afghanistan is a tribal society. Tradition demands that its people stand up to any outsiders who set foot on their land. With the honor of their people at stake, they have everything to fight for. No matter how hard the Soviets hit them, they continue to appear out of nowhere, striking back, then vanishing again. But there's one thing even the Mujahideen fear. Every last one of them. The Soviet gunships. They're highly maneuverable and equipped with massive firepower. Plus, the underside of the fuselage is heavily armored. The Mujahideen can barely scratch them with their small arms. Anyone who hangs around gets mowed down by the gunship's heavy machine guns. This new honeybee weapon that was given to the Hamid fighters, it's no doubt something to help them strike back against the gunships, which makes it a weapon that could change the course of the war. Those guerrilla fighters known as Mujahideen don't actually belong to a single organization. Afghanistan is a multi-ethnic country. You've got the Pashtuns, the Tajiks, Uzbeks, Hazaras, and each of them is split into their own tribes, large and small. Each ethnicity has several rebel organizations that their various tribes gather under. They're united under the banner of jihad, but that doesn't mean they work like a single standing army. Just look at the area around Smasi Fort. A lot of Tajiks used to live there, but they fled after the Soviets started their scorched earth campaign. With the area uninhabited, the Hamid fighters, who are Pashtun, decided to move in. The Hamids are based out of the city of Peshawar. We passed through it on the western edge of Pakistan. The Pashtun people have long lived in Afghanistan and western Pakistan. They used to travel back and forth frequently. Then Britain went and established the border that still stands today. The Hamid fighters get generous support from the Pakistani government. The government wants to use them to secure influence over Afghanistan. Their liaison with the Hamids is Inter-Services Intelligence, and behind the ISI, you have the CIA. That's probably how the honeybee ended up in the hands of the Hamid men.
They are still not in their appropriate locations, but it seems like they're getting there.
I had the R&D team analyze the honeybee. How? The CIA wanted it with everything intact.
They took it apart to look at it. Then they put it back together. Everything intact.
That's the R&D boys, all right.
Turns out the honeybee's homing capabilities are a cut above previous manpads. It can detect a broad range of infrared wavelengths, and even ultraviolet for supplementary guidance.
Hence the name, huh?
Right. Honeybees rely on UV light to fly. With this device, flares don't do the target any good.
That's why the Soviets are losing so many gunships.
And why the CIA was so desperate to get it back. It wasn't just about preventing the Soviets from devising countermeasures. What if the likes of Iran got their hands on it?
American aircraft would be put at risk too.
We can use this tech to develop our own portable missile. That'll give us a huge advantage. It'll take a little time before the analysis results can be applied to actual implementation. But we'll keep moving with the research.
The Honeybee, the precursor to the Stinger missile launcher. Do you get it?
Guys, what about the unit that attacked us in the mist? You knew something about them.
That wasn't my first run-in with them. It happened right before I was captured by the Soviets. We were on the zero line that day, the Afghan side, on our way back from training the Mujahideen at a mountain camp in Kunar province. There's a lot of that work in Afghanistan. Most PFs shy away from it because it draws too much attention. But for us, that was the whole point. The job itself went great. We just had to make it back to a tribal area in Pakistan. But all of a sudden, visibility got real bad. It was no sandstorm. Our point man gave this strange report. He said he could see skulls in the mist.
Skulls.
The next moment, he went silent. We scrambled into formation, right before his arms and legs came raining down on us. It was always supposed to be a dangerous mission, so I had Diamond Dog's very best with me. But when I came to, I was in a Soviet camp, tied to an interrogation chair.
Could they be some new Spetsnaz unit?
No. The ones that interrogated me were just the average rank and file.
This is it. Come on, gentlemen. Let's do what we came here to do, please. Pretty please with fucking cheese on top. Please begin this interrogation. Holy shit. Okay. I'm gonna try something. Before I completely give up on absolutely everything, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try something. There's no guarantee that it's going to work, but we're gonna try it. Okay? You and me, we're gonna get through this somehow. Y'all, where's this autosave checkpoint? Come on, brother. Pretty pleased with motherfucking cheese on top. Where's it at? There should be a location-based fucking autosave checkpoint. And we should have already fucking passed it. What the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? We're nearly out of the mission area. Did you see it autosave? I didn't fucking see it autosave. Dude, we are fucking crawling around in one of the moons orbiting Jupiter. Where's the fucking autosave checkpoint?
Beyond there is outside the mission
You gotta be
area.
fucking kidding me. So there's a chance, there's always a slim chance that if you hit an autosave checkpoint and then you reload from the checkpoint, then all the actors will reset and they'll go ahead and since they are already in the correct locations that they are supposed to be in, they will decide to do the correct thing. Which that doesn't make any sense. How did a prisoner die? Can you riddle me that?
British CFA officials are being held by their Afrikaner colleagues.
Holy fucking shit.
Is the rescue target, a guy known as the Viscount. The target's location is unknown. They're bound to have an interpreter. That prisoner you extracted wasn't the target.
All the moving pieces were in the right places. So how precisely did this fuck up so badly? And I collected information. So how about you fucking riddle me exactly how did I collect information, but that wasn't an autosave? Collecting any other information at any other point in time, that's an autosave. Didn't it autosave whenever I collected that information? Why am I all the fuck way back here? Y'all, I am so upsetty, and I have lost all of my motherfucking spaghetti, man. This shit is anus, man. Fucking straight anus. Fucking hate this mission. And if you like this mission, fuck you. That's what I have to say. What do I have to say about you and your love of this stupid fucking mission? Jesus Christ. Interpreter. Just a fucking interpreter. You don't see nothing.
Hey! Wie is it?
You gotta be good, May. So, I began a thought earlier. So we used to have this, guy, whenever I was active duty, my last 4 months of active duty, whenever I was in honor guard. My last 4 months of active duty, while I was on honor guard, we had this guy, and he was fucking funny as fuck. He was one of the funniest dudes I've ever met in my entire life. And by the way, in case you haven't seen any of my previous Let's Plays or anything like that, I use the C word, and that's because I'm worldly, alright? I don't use it the same way that other Americans do. I've been to 5 separate countries at this point in time. I've met well over 1 million people, at the very least. So whenever I use the C word, I do it like, you know, like somebody in Australia would. Somebody in Australia calls their enemies mate, and they call their friends cunts. That's that's the way that they use that word. Like I said, I've never been to Europe, and I haven't been to Australia, though I did have the opportunity to do so, and I am still sad that I missed it. Apparently his almonds have still been activated from the last checkpoint. Hopefully that's not going to affect his ability to play out his script for this particular role. Let's hope for the best. So there's this dude in honor guard while I was in honor guard with him my last 4 months of active duty. Funny as fuck. Stuttered a lot, but besides that, he made up for it for just being the funniest fucking dude. So what he used to do is, while we were waiting, so like the military is kind of famous for its gallows humor, right? Because at any point in time, you can get your head blown off, right? you might not be in a war zone or anything, but that's the assumption, is that you came here not to live. You came here to do dangerous shit so that other people may live. That's the general assumption. The statistics don't work out that way, but that's how military folk think. So as part of this gallows humor, we might just coke and joke around while other people might not be among us anymore in the land of living. So, as part of all of this, there was this, every single time that there'd be like a hearse pulling up with like a dead guy in it, while the hearse is pulling up, he would always like make noises. He would go like, fuck bitches, get money. You know, he would just act like the hearse is like bumping fucking really inappropriate rap music. And like, I would be trying so hard to stand at attention and give this dead guy's family the proper burial and whatever. Dead guy, dead gal, but most likely if they're going to be, you know, particularly older, then it's most likely going to be a dead guy.
That's not the target. Orders are only the Viscount gets rescued. It's a problem to save the other prisoners too.
Nobody's seeing this. Nobody's hearing this. Within 30 meters, they can hear Fulton extractions. So I'm going to take them beyond the 30 meters. I'm up the creek without a paddle. Like I came around, he spotted the Fulton extraction, that was it. That's all she wrote.
One of these prisoners is the rescue target, a guy known as the Viscount. The target's location is...
That's all she wrote was apparently an old, show, kind of like Matlock or something like that, or Columbo.
And the cells and interrogation rooms are separate places.
I've never seen it. But I guess perhaps at the end of the episode, she would say that's all she wrote? I don't know. I don't know where the saying comes from, but I've been saying it for my entire life. It's 35 years if that's all she wrote, so I don't know if I'll be able to kick the habit now. I don't really think that there's any reason to. Move on with my life. I learned from Eben Pagan the phrase "a stitch in time saves 9." I had heard the phrase before, but I learned from Eben Pagan what exactly it means. It literally means, like, if you stitch up your clothes whenever there's like a small rip, then it might just take one stitch. Whereas if you wait for the rip to get like nice and humongous, then it could take up to 9 stitches, or probably more. So there's your little history lesson for the day. Either way, that really funny guy that was with me and Honor Guard, that dude made it impossible to be sitting there standing at attention trying to you know, pay the final respects to this particular dead veteran, whichever it was. I mean, it's like being able to keep my composure whenever that guy. So there's not much fun to be had whenever it comes to Argard, you know, burying dead people and stuff. But occasionally we have some strange events.
We're businessmen. Onze zakenman.
So here's like the only fun story from that time frame that I've ever had. I'm still chopping red cabbage, by the way.
We didn't try to hide anything.
I'm almost done.
The Viscount
Like I said, I can't find my fucking gigantic butcher knife. It'd speed things up. So we had this fucking funeral. We were out there in the middle of nowhere, and this funeral, like one funeral ran late, and the next one was like early. So we went out there. We marched out there. We were very professional. We did all the things, and then like, you know, it was time to boogie. And at the time, I was pretty fresh.
Use a weapon. Be careful not to draw the enemy's attention. That's not the target.
So I was pretty fresh into Honor Guard. Like, I hadn't been in for too overly long at that point in time. And so the newest guys, there was 3 different jobs inside Honor Guard in order to do the ceremony involving the funeral. Now, okay, you might say, what about the 21 gun salute? That was only, like, back in the day, the 21 gun salute used to be for everybody. But now, well, at least at the time that I was in Honor Guard, the 21 gun salute was for, like, Medal of Honor recipients or some shit like that. Or the only other alternative. Motherfucker. How the fuck? He like churned all the fuck way around. What the fuck was that shit? So anyways, like, so we only did the 21 gun salute one time. And that was from a guy who died, he was killed in action. It was a weird situation, but I'm not going to get into it. We'll just leave it at that.
Several high-level British CFA officials are being held by their Afrikaner colleagues. One of these prisoners
I keep fucking losing.
a guy known as the Viscount.
I lose
They're bound to have an interpreter present when they interrogate him.
I lose a fucking parachute every time. What kind of shit is this?
The interpreter's location. It's on your iDroid. Follow the interpreter and extract the target when you find him.
Now I'm going to be late to the interrogation. You made me late, you fuck. Honestly, I could probably leave him out here without any consequences. I mean, like, he's going to get rained on, but besides that, like, I took out his guard, and nobody ever comes down here to check on him, so if I have to reload a checkpoint again, well, we're just going to have to deal. But even though I'm going to be late for the interrogation, hopefully I'll at least be able to get within earshot with the binoculars / directional microphone. I'm probably not going to be able to get all up in their business like I normally do, but hopefully I'll at least be able to get within binoculars / directional microphone. They're in the building. They're acting like the entire interrogation has already happened, which not enough time has passed for that. That interrogation takes a little while.
High-level British CFA officials are being held by their Afrikaner colleagues. One of these
Whatever.
prisoners is the rescue target, a guy known as the Viscount. The target's
You're
location
coming with
is
me.
unknown. They're bound to have an interpreter present when they interrogate him. We've used info from the intel unit to predict the interpreter's location. It's on your iDroid. Follow the interpreter and extract the target when you find him.
Fucking moving slow as fuck right now. I carried it, dude. Alright? So let's be real here. Snake's probably moving faster than I would. In the same situation. But I have been in the same situation. I ran with a guy on my back like that. Like I said, Snake's probably doing a better job than I am. He's still acting, they're still acting as if the damn thing, the interrogation's already over, and it's not. This wedding is horseshit. Dog, fuck this all the way around. So, here's what we'll do. We'll do this all appropriate, like.
Boss, I need to talk to you about this. Quiet. Can you meet me at her cell here on the base? Whenever's fine. Thanks.
See, T-Dog piece. It's a very important detail that was, and I'm sure somebody took an inordinate amount of time in their life to program that in. Mr. Kojima, can I please see my wife and family? After you program the dog pee. But Mr. Kojima, no buts. The dog must pee. Kojima-san, please. No. You stay here. And you program the dog to pee. The dog must pee. Sorry, Kojima-san.
Several high-level British
I'm
CFA
sorry,
officials are being
Kojima-san.
held by their Afrikaner colleagues. One of these prisoners is the rescue target.
Don't hit
a guy
me
known as
again.
the Viscount. The target's location is
Actually, as far as I know, he was never abusive to his employees.
We've used info from the intel unit to predict the interpreter's location. It's on your
They said
iDroid.
he can get pretty mean. Man, I'm gonna fucking lose my motherfucking marbles, man. All the marbles I have left are gonna get lost in the dirt, boys. Shit.
Several high-level British CFA officials are being held by their Afrikaner colleagues. One of these prisoners is the rescue target, a guy known as the Viscount. The target's location is unknown. They're bound to have an interpreter present when they interrogate him. We've used info from the intel unit to predict the interpreter's location. It's on your iDroid. Follow the interpreter and extract the target when you find him.
All I can do is fucking hope and pray that D-Dog momentarily getting in the way didn't break all known scripts in the entire fucking level. Entire mission, hook, line, and sinker. Are you fucking having fun yet, boys? This mission. Now you know why I cut it off whenever I did last night. Because this mission is butt-kiss, man. Pardon my language. It just is, okay? It just is. You didn't see shit, motherfucker. You didn't see shit. He agrees with me. I like to get within 30 meters of them, just to make sure that I overhear the conversation. But I could swear that you could probably overhear the conversation for up to 60 meters away.
Meld aan met gevangenen.
Goeie werk, troep.
Wel, wat maak ik met hem?
Sit hom saam met die vrou. Zullen saam ondervra.
Ja, meneer. Probeer.
That particular convo is not important to overhear, but oh well. Oh boy. Man. Man. This fucking mission is a barrel of laughs, boys. Are you having fun yet? You see how...
They are all business. Hard to believe they're interrogating their own. Situation must be worse than we thought. Make a wrong move, and they could kill the target without warning.
Okay.
If you're going to use a weapon,
Nobody saw it, nobody heard him falling down or anything like that, and now everybody is more than 30 meters away, so they're not going to be able to hear me kick him, and they're not going to be able to overhear the interrogation, which nobody ever does, but just in case. There we go. Don't alarm everybody, big boy. Boom, baby. Yo. First off, sliding down the hill, not the classiest move. Second off, this fucking elevation difference between you and I are not super duper favorable to me. Anyways, did you notice, BT Dubs, that the guards, while raining, they will seek shelter from the rain? And then fucking gnarly as all get out? Dude, what the flippity flop fuck is fucking happening right now? I'm extremely upsetty, and I've fucking lost all of my spaghetti, boys. Holy shit. Did you see that? I mean, like, you saw the same fucking shit that I did, man. They swerved past the point at which they are supposed to interrogate the first prisoner. They fucking swerved his ass. They just said, like, nah. They swooshed right past the first motherfucking prisoner and then just decided to fucking go up to the final interrogation area. Did they do it because it just turned nighttime? Because that's not the order in which they're supposed to do the interrogations. They're supposed to leave the final interrogation with the Viscount as the final interrogation with the Viscount. I'm telling you, dog, I've lost all of my spaghetti, boys. All of my motherfucking spaghetti. Spilled all over the fucking place. I am so upset. This shit is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. It's every day, bro. It's every day. About to fucking rage quit life. L-Y-F-E. Dude, this is not cool. Still here chopping some motherfucking cabbage. And I have to chop onions too. No, I was gonna try out that thing. Somebody recommended grating onions instead of chopping them. So like that solves a lot of problems. Bought a grater and everything.
She refuses to wear clothes. The last staff member who tried to dress her, breathing through tubes. Other than that, she's completely cooperative. She understands English. She never speaks, sweats, or breathes. What? Well, not with lungs, at least. She breathes through her skin. Clothing would suck. Showers are okay, but she can't be submerged.
What's wrong with her?
She's drinking through her skin.
She's okay?
She's okay. She just can't move when she's taking in water. Look.
Little excessive there, Kojima boy. The other skulls don't act like that.
She hasn't eaten a thing since she got here.
She doesn't eat either?
Never. It's photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. That's the verdict from the medical staff?
No, jury's still out. It's the only explanation for what we've seen. The GRU had a man with that ability in its Cobra unit. Now, we don't think she's contagious. Some of the staff can't stomach her. It's starting to affect morale.
Can't you send her on a mission?
By herself? No. But as you know, she does have skill. Why not take her out on one of your missions? She seems to like you. Of course, only if you think she'll be useful. Next time you go out, you keep her in mind.
$30,000 gross military product just for that. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah.
That won't work on me. I've had drug resistance training.
Some sort of force field that protects her. Literally, it's the entire cell. Oh boy.
Roger. This is
That is the music that plays, I think, whenever you're in Toronto and Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura.
Gaining altitude.
For the PC, I find it on Good Old Games, GOG, Steam. Probably. I think so, at least. It's an older game, but it is a blasty blast. Very fun. Lots of love about it. Seth Zine-Tac on YouTube made a video about it.
Looks like you've gotten used to working with Quiet. I don't see a problem with giving her some new weapons. I've already talked it over with the R&D team.
How'd that conversation go? I like her. I don't care. Make better weapons for her. Or do you want her to die on boss's missions whenever boss needs her?
Being a scout sniper, there are two tasks you can give Quiet. The first is to infiltrate an outpost ahead of you and scout out the enemy's positions. The second is to send her to a sniping position and have her cover your infiltration. The kind of sniper support she'll provide will depend on the weapon you give her. Of course, this is all assuming she's willing to follow orders.
So for a while, she will be limited to the to exclusively the loud sniper rifle, but eventually you can get a quiet sniper rifle for her. Taking her along, I think, with a certain amount of time out there in the free roam mode, the game will count that as being equivalent to taking her on a mission. But like I said before with D-Dog, running the C2W mission over and over and over again, going directly to the target and just blasting the 3 satellites, that's probably going to be the fastest way for you to level up to 100% bond. That's what I did with D-Dog. I primarily did that off camera. It's very boring to do, but you only have to do it once. And that's about the full extent of it. So I'll probably do that off camera again. You don't have to view that. I nearly fell asleep last time that I did it. A few times. So that's not going to be very entertaining for anybody. Especially since each and every time that I switch mission or whatever, it'll be a whole rigmarole. Hey look. The vehicle that I stole from Lingua Franca, it's here now. Didn't want it to be here, but now we live in the same world that it was. didn't load in fast enough on the mission preparation stream for me to make sure it stayed at Mother Base.
If you extract him, it could be plenty useful for us.
This is the same place that had the materials extraction thing earlier. That particular side mission that I decided to ignore. Floating sheep. See that kind of shit every day. Fucking crazy, isn't it?
That's the target.
Get down. Where are the others?
Welcome to Mother Base. Try the Mongolian barbecue every Saturday.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
There was a certain time of
Where are your friends?
week. I don't know if it was Saturday. It might have been. But there was a certain time of week in Chin'e Naval Base in South Korea when I was stationed there. Certain time of week that the only restaurant on base, the Turtle Cove, used to have Mongolian beef night. And they let you go and grab your own ingredients and like throw them in a bowl and everything. And then they'd throw all that ingredients on the grill for you. It'd be like get this grill set up outside. And they'd fucking... They'd give you that shit and it was gnarly and I fucking miss it. And that, like there was... So I discovered one particular fine day that my very favoriteest Chinese food place on this planet, which is the Best Buffet. I think that's actually what it's called. And it's across the street from the Wood River Walmart in Wood River, Illinois. That particular Chinese food restaurant not only has bomb-ass Chinese food, and is probably the best fucking buffet place on the fucking planet, and my very mildly autistic cousin just recently learned that him and his brother had autism spectrum disorder, but it seems to be very, very mild because I've never heard of anybody that was able to notice it or pick it up. So very high functioning, I guess. I don't know. But he fucking hates, you know, Chinese food most of the time. And I took him down there and he fucking loved it. He was just like, wow. Like I told him, I said, like, this is the fucking best Chinese food buffet that you'll ever go to in your whole life. And he was like, I thought you were full of shit, but this place is the bomb, you know, biggity. Anyways, so back in the day, I figured out way too late that they did a motherfucking Mongolian beef night. Or not a Mongolian beef night. They did, they sold Mongolian beef. That was one of the things. You could, they had like a bar in the back or some shit like that, and you could choose between like your particular raw food and stuff like that, and then take it to the guy that's way the fuck in the back, and that guy would go ahead and take all of that food and he'd throw it on a grill, and then everything would be fucking hunky motherfucking dory, dude. Shit was the best. And I figured it out way too late. I fucking figured it out, and I was just like, you know what? Whenever I'm here, I want their fucking, you know, I want their food. I don't want to try, like, Mongolian beef or anything like that. Whenever I'm here, I want their food. And that was, like, the full extent of it.
gotta extract him.
And now, remembering the Turtle Cove and the Mongolian Deep Night, I really wish I would have indulged at some point in time. Because do you know that you don't actually remember things?
Roger that.
Serious as a heart attack. Apparently, the way that the human mind works is that you do not actually remember things. What you remember is the last time that you remembered it. Seriously, like the human mind is a memory card, and we are consistently wiping that memory card and writing over the data with new data. It's like we're just saving over the same data over and over and over again, which is why sometimes, well, it's why we're so susceptible to nostalgia, right? Fairly simple and easy to understand, right? Because each and every time that we are talking about our past in like a good way, like, you know, talking about our past and being like, yeah, you remember the time? Peter, do you remember the time? Lois, do you remember the time? Made him sound like Squidward there. So, each and every time that we are like reminiscing about our past and stuff, what we're doing is we are paving over those memories with a version of the memory which is much more cheerful than it was before. I've heard it said it's kind of like a banister, you know? You've ever gone up or down stairs that have a banister? The more times it happens, the more times you use the handrail on a banister, the more like oil from human skin will, you know, polish that banister over and over and over again. And so the memory becomes this polished version of it that at some point in time may start to not even look a thing like the original memory. That's why we're so susceptible to nostalgia and stuff like that. So we are not even remembering the incident. We are remembering the last time that we remember the incident. It's also why such neuro-linguistic programming techniques such as...
Boss, get down. The enemy sniper.
Come on.
Stay low and crawl along the ground. That should enable you to sneak past enemies.
Snake decided to stand there with his dick in his hand for quite some time after I gave the command to crawl. Get all the way from here to wherever the fuck that sniper was a second ago. Holy shit, he was on another fucking continent. Over here fucking taking up residence in Maine, and we're in fucking Africa. Son of a bitch.
Speak. Where are your friends?
So whenever it comes to these side ops, I mean, at the end of the day, the Diamond Dogs are a mercenary outfit. BT Dubs, this was sort of like, this was Hideo Kojima sort of commenting on the state of affairs whenever it came to essentially first world empires and invading the Middle East. And so he was drawing a lot of parallels between the United States of America's you know, war on terrorism and stuff like that. He was trying to, you know, hold up a mirror to...
Get down. Spit it out. Where are your friends?
of Russia, trying to show us that we are more...
Speak.
we are more alike than different, especially militarily and stuff like that. Really trying to show the deal. And like I said before, again, his targeting reticle was red, therefore I know precisely what he was about to do. He was going to try to stab me, and that's not really good. This right here is an armored vehicle escort.
Subject on board. Leave the rest
This
to
large
us.
hatch in the back is supposed to open up and reveal many soldiers, but it also has a main gun. Okay, good. I thought that entire exercise was going to fail and I was going to have to toss grenades at it as well. Not episode 30, that's A Quiet Exit. I think that's episode like 48 or some shit like that. Mission 48. That's the only time that you see that in action here in this game. In Peace Walker, you see it plenty of times. Why are they running away? Supposed to be running towards the incident. You're soldiers, that's your job. It's like watching two firefighters running away from a fire, man.
Where are your friends?
There we go. I have no fucking clue where the hell he's going. But I will stop his forward progress as much as I possibly can. Okie dokie. So,
You gotta extract him.
So this was his, this is Hideo Kojima's, his sort of way of exploring the entire idea of the United States war on terror. And, I mean, this game, of course, came out before Biden pulled out all of our troops just a short while back. And so the graveyard of empires claimed yet another victim in a very gallows humor sort of way. And I'd like to again give my congratulations to drugs for winning the war on drugs. And of course, congratulations are in order for terrorism for winning the war on terrorism. You can tell the lack of joy that I had in my voice for these particular events. The Veterans Affairs actually had to set up a hotline after Biden pulled out all of our troops because people have spent over 20 years of their lives fighting and watching their very best friends, their families, die in the Middle East in this war on terror just to essentially lose the war on terror. So all of us veterans felt very strongly about this whole invasion of Iraq. And of course, us veterans already have a habit of 22 veterans taking themselves out each and every day. Last time I checked the figures, it had gone down to about 20, maybe. So perhaps things are getting a little bit better. And I have no doubt that pulling us out of Afghanistan and the Middle East and everything, that had a predictable negative effect on us veterans at the very least. So they had to set up a second veteran taking yourselves out of the game hotline. I'm trying to say the word because YouTube doesn't like that. Self-harm topics are not, you know, ad-friendly, I guess. I didn't know about the veteran figures and everything whenever I was active duty. At the time, veterans were not allowed on military bases. Now things are different, and I figured that there was going to be a revolution, that veterans were going to start to be allowed on bases, and as a result, like we were going to begin changing the minds of those active duty. And I truly continue to believe, at the end of the day, that the only way to really improve the situation of veterans is to make for better education for those about to leave the military. I still believe that in my heart of hearts, because so many people so very often have tried to work from the outside in, and it has just not worked. So I truly continue to believe that the effort must come from inside out. And while I was active duty, or while I was in the United States Army Senior Reserve Officer Training Corps, it was the first time that I really thought that I might become a person of enough power to make a difference in this regard. The one thing that I wanted to do more than anything else was change the transition assistance program. Not only did I take the transition assistance program whenever it was offered to me while I was active duty, it's something that is offered to you. You get paid the same. You're paid on salary. So they offer you the chance to go to this transition assistance program. So of course you want to get paid exactly the same to go and take a class instead of doing your job. Like, whatever, yeah, I'll take this class. And then you learn about all these different things and whatnot, but the big thing is they don't fucking touch on any of these topics. And then they have the balls to try to present itself as like they don't really talk with the VA much at all, Veterans Affairs, to really get to the core, the heart of what the hell is going on with veterans. At least that's not what I've seen. And they really don't talk to me veterans either. It's almost like they don't even fucking know what the hell veterans really need in the first place. So they don't do a very good job of, preparing you for life outside of the military. And it's very fucking important. Especially whenever your risk of punching yourself out of the system, clocking out of life, becomes so very high after your time. Researching this topic was a hell of a thing, because as it turns out, at what point in time do you think veterans are most likely to punch their own ticket? Because as it turns out, the answer to that question is within the first 3 years after they leave active duty, or retirement age. And in retrospect, that should be almost blatantly obvious, shouldn't it? During the time in which you leave active duty, during that point in time, that's going to be the point in time where veterans struggle the most with adjusting to civilian life. So it's the point in time where veterans are going to need the most help. And with retirement age, veterans also are much more likely to require the assistance of other human beings. That role reversal of being the person in charge of helping everybody else and having all of the skills and all the expectations and all the everything to do so, and having that role reverse on you, and instead it's your turn to help everybody else, or to be helped. It's a really fucking tough pill to swallow. So I understand my brothers in arms. So it's only, on top of that, it's only during my time honor guard, how many of the people that I was burying, how many were there of their own volition. How many were there and had put themselves there with their own hands? I don't have an answer for that question. And the question itself is a depressing one.
Where are your friends?
So it's not one that I even like to think about.
Speak. Where are your friends?
Can you understand now why during that time I may have drank possibly to excess quite often? Is that understandable? You don't have to be a veteran. You don't have to be... You don't have to walk a mile in my shoes to understand these things and to have this be an understandable set of circumstances.
Hands up. Spit
However, indeed, empathy is not natural to everyone. I learned that one the hard way, and it took a long time for me to learn that lesson.
He's coming too. Roger that.
And that many mental illnesses actually impair the function of empathy. It causes people to be empathy impaired. What am I doing that for? That was in the perfect position. Could have just used it to take out the tank.
Where are your friends?
Sometimes I am profoundly stupid. And other times, I'm only mildly stupid. There are no times whenever I am intelligent.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
People will continue to believe that I'm some kind of a superhero because I have 2 degrees. They won't ascribe to themselves the possible characteristics that might make it a possibility for them as well.
He's coming too. Roger that.
They'll simply just decide of their own accord that I must be some sort of magic man.
Subject on board.
And that's why I
Leave the rest
succeed.
to us.
You can see how ascribing to talent what can be properly explained with hard work can be very insulting to those who have put in that work. That being said, let's not discount the many things that have helped me get from here to there.
Roger.
Not least of which was my luck for having joined the United States Navy, for having been born with the fingers and toes to do so, and stuff like that. Many people simply could not take my path because they were born without all their fingers and toes through no fault of their own. So let's not forget that there was a lot of luck. Fairly easy to overlook. But even Arnold Schwarzenegger himself recently had a quote that I thought was very poignant. He was talking about how so many people think of him as some kind of a hero in some capacity, and how he worked so hard and he had so much talent and whatnot. And he said, I can't wear that badge with any sort of pride or anything. Because how can I pound my chest and ascribe that to myself whenever I had so much help? I had so much help learning English. Somebody else taught me English. So I had so much help moving to the United States. I had so much help from bodybuilding friends whenever I moved here. I had so much help becoming a U.S. citizen. I had so much help in so many different ways throughout my entire career. I cannot possibly pound my own chest and, say to everyone that I got here myself and I'm a self-made man. I detest that description of a self-made man. I could not call myself a self-made man because I had so much help. That is a very, very, very self-aware quote from somebody. But I was shocked and amazed. One day I actually had to teach someone else empathy. It was crazy. So I was on this message board, right? And somebody was talking about they were bringing up somebody was trying to make somebody else uncomfortable, and so they brought up the works of Junji Ito. So they brought up the works of Junji Ito, who's a wonderful horror manga comic artist and the like. Like I said, he largely deals with horror. And his comics are, in a way, very unsettling. I wouldn't call them strictly horrifying, but his comics are, in a way, incredibly unsettling and will get under your skin and will be there permanently if you let them. And each and every time that you're forced to deal with it again, it'll bring back those heaves and those jeebs. It'll bring back the heebie-jeebies. And there's not much that you can do about it. The only sort of therapy to get you through Junji Ito's works is indeed, repeated exposure therapy. You're just going to have to force yourself to face it again and again until it stops bothering you. There's no guarantee that it ever will. So that being said, somebody was trying to do that. They were trying to do the same thing. They were trying to make somebody else uncomfortable by bringing up Junji Ito's work. And somebody else said, you know what, I don't get it. I said, I don't understand everybody's thing with Junji Ito's work. He said, in a nutshell, it's the same thing. I was paraphrasing Mr. Schwarzenegger himself earlier. But, so paraphrasing this particular person as well, he said, I don't understand everybody's obsession with Junji Ito's work. He said, essentially, it's an idiot plot. So many times he writes characters who do things that are not what anybody in real life would do. This is, it's an idiot plot. These stories only exist because the characters are idiots. They don't act like human beings. They don't act like, everybody else. They're impossible to relate to, He said, so I don't get it. And I had to tell him, I said, this is largely, Junji Ito's work is largely Lovecraftian in nature. I said, this is about the horror of compulsion, which is why it gets under so many people's skin. He said, yeah, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do the things that the characters in his comics and the like, I wouldn't do the things that they did. I said, yeah, but whenever they do those things, it's not under their control. This is a lot like an addiction or something like that. If even in those cases, if you clamp down hard enough in the moment, so to speak, then you can stop the addiction. You can grin and bear it to get through that urge to smoke or something like that. Whatever the addiction is. So even in real life, they have the option not to, but in Junji Ito's comics, though these people are being controlled. This is the horror of compulsion. They are not in control of themselves and their own executive functions and the like. He said, yeah, but okay, so that's not what I would do and everything, but also I'm not going to be able to relate to people who are able to take control of other human beings through hypnosis or any other sort of things. I'm not able to cast a spell on somebody else. I said, so who are you trying to relate to in the story? And he says, well, I can't relate to anybody. I said, well, everybody else who's reading these comics, I said, they're relating to the characters. I said, have you thought of what it would be like to be one of these people in Junji Ito's comics and mangas and the like? Have you thought what it would be like to be one of these people and experience what they are experiencing and lose control of your own body, your own faculties and everything, much like how people are horrified by the idea of dementia and losing control of their own mind and their own memories to be these characters, and not only lose control of yourself and your own body and be sort of controlled, compelled in some way to do something so horrific, and then at the end of the story to suffer such unimaginable results from those compulsions. And he said, no, I've never done that. He said, people do that? I said, my God, that's fucking horrifying. He says, that doesn't make me feel good. That makes me feel awful. I said, there it is. That's what everybody else is feeling whenever they are viewing these stories. They're taking the side of the protagonist of this tale. They're walking a mile in their shoes. And whenever something so horrendous happens to these protagonists, and it's through no fault of their own, of course, that's what makes the story so horrifying. This is a fun day. Teach somebody else empathy. Empathy can't be learned. Even with heavily low functioning autism and stuff like that, they learn to emulate the social cues that they see in other people whenever they go through training programs and the like to help blend in with the rest of the world. They learn to emulate the eye contact. They learn to emulate the smile. They learn to emulate where other people look. And while they may not inherently know why people look this way, they may have to remind themselves. Eventually it becomes muscle memory and everything, and they still don't know why other people do it and why that would be considered important or whatever. But it can become muscle memory like everything else. And so they learn to emulate these things. And it's the same thing. Empathy is something that can be learned. You can actually learn empathy. Feeling it is a bit different. Feeling it as a natural response can be a bit different. That can be a hell of a thing, but it can be learned. But if you are missing that empathy center or something like that, then while the empathy skill can be learned, that feeling will always be gone. So, if, for example, if you ask a psychopath who was born without the ability to feel empathy and has a very impaired sense of moral relativism, if you ask that person to sit down and imagine themselves as a little girl that just had her favorite toys taken away, if you ask them to imagine themselves as that in that scenario, and you ask them, how does the little girl feel, then they can obviously conclude that the little girl feels awful. And they said, if you were that little girl, what would you want? Oh, I would want that toy back. I would want my toys back. And I would feel unfair, and I would feel like, I don't understand, like the world is unfair. I would feel these sort of things. But that would be a conclusion that they put together from context clues and the like. It wouldn't precisely be them feeling those things, right? So, we watch Lion King or something like that, and we might cry because Mufasa is lost. He's gone. Or we can cry because if we were Simba, and we had lost our parent like that, then that would be a horrible feeling. And either one is something that we might feel. So, so they might cry because Mufasa's dead and gone, and they won't be able to, do Mufasa-related things ever again. They can cry because of that. They're crying because of them. They're crying because of themselves. They're not crying because they empathize with Simba. So you can learn the skill of empathy, but if that part of your brain is gone, like it's not there to be accessed in the first place, then either that needs to be fixed through for the people who are empathy impaired, and you can then fix the underlying illness and everything. But if that physical part of your brain is gone, it was never there in the first place. If that is the case, then that is a particular scenario where the empathy skill can still be learned, but the feeling will never be there. It'll just be you putting together context clues and the like in order to get from A to B. Anyways, I'm done chopping my vegetables. I am very tired. For some reason, probably because I had to get up early. And I wanna, chop my onions or grate my onions. Bought a grater just for that purpose. And I want to finish making a salad, and I want to eat this salad, and I have to take a shower before bed. I have to shave all of this, like 3-day growth, before I show up at the plasma donation center for these people who are actually attractive, and I am not. So at the very least, I have to, like, shave all this shit off, and I really don't want to do anything. I just want to go to bed. Like, fuck this. But I have to. So I'm going to leave you alone here. And maybe next time we can try again with Lingua Franca and get that last mission task. Sound good to you? Alright then. Talk to you later.